So this is the JEGS cargo roof box. It's 18 cubic feet on my 2019 Subaru Crosstrek. It's in the open position here. Just kind of showing you how things fit together. I'm not going to show you how to put it together, but I'll show you how to take it apart, because that's what I'm about to do. I just took this on a week-long camping trip where I had it full and did probably 600 miles with it, and I was really pleased with it. It's a little bit hard to reach from the ground. I'm standing kind of on the curb here, but what I do is open this door and I stand right up on here, and that really allows me to get up, put everything in pretty easily. You know, I can reach pretty much to the other side pretty easily. These kind of braces right here allow you to prop this thing open. So you see if I lift this up, kind of tough to do with one hand, I'll try, but if I lift this up, I can put that down, and then same on that side. Okay, it popped in on its own. And then it should just kind of close. And then these things fit right in here. It's really simple design, and then these guys lock like this, and the same exact thing happens on the other side. So that's what allows you to open this thing up from either side. You see back there, they can kind of pivot, which is pretty cool. Give a little idea of what all can fit in here. Essentially got all of our camping stuff: tent, tarp, 3 sleeping pads, 2 pillows, 2 full-size camping chairs, fishing pole, emergency car bag, Coleman stove, fishing gear. Pretty good. So this is definitely not as high quality as your typical Yakima or Thule brand, but it's also probably around a third of the price. You know, I was looking online and there really weren't a lot of good budget-friendly options besides the main brands of Yakima and Thule, which I couldn't find anything for really cheaper than $550 or $600, and those were kind of the smaller ones. The other nice thing about this system, this was $230 on Amazon, which is pretty good. It shipped within, I think, 5 days, which is pretty awesome. The other cool thing is the system to connect to the crossbars is very universal. So I don't know exactly all the shapes that it fits, but I'll put a picture and show you what shapes it fits, but I think it fits most shapes. So these bars are just off of Amazon as well. I paid about 50 bucks for these. I'll put a link in the description. But yeah, just a simple, it's called a U-bolt connection. So you can kind of see it coming up through the bottom right here, and then it pops up right into here. And so you just loosen these. It should just fall through the bottom. There's a little plate here, which I probably bent a little bit because I tightened it so much. And then come down here, this thing should pop right out. That's it. So really simple connection. That's it. This is advertised as waterproof, but as you can see, there's no weather sealing or rubber gasket or anything there. It's really just plastic on plastic. So I would not count on this thing being completely waterproof, and I did put it to the test on the way back from our trip. I probably did 100 miles in a rainstorm that was pretty heavy on a highway, and immediately opened this thing and found that there was just a little puddle of water in here, probably like 2 cups of water maybe. So I would not advise putting anything super sensitive in here that you don't want to get wet, because chances are if you drive through a rainstorm it will get a little bit wet. I thought about maybe putting like kind of a rubber seal up there to just kind of improve that seal, but I haven't done it yet. All I was storing in here was camping supplies, which for the most part can get a little wet. You know, the tent and camping chairs, stove. It's not the end of the world if it gets a little wet, but that is something to consider. I have seen some folks on reviews complain about these locks being a little cheap, and I can definitely say that's probably true. Maybe you get what you pay for. I would just say they just take a little bit of finesse, or at least putting the key in the right direction. Usually that does the trick. But some people say that they broke the key off in the keyhole, which, yeah, that'll probably happen, but completely avoidable. So as long as you're just not stupid, it should be fine. One thing I think I noticed, oh, these are kind of loose actually. So these are a little bit loosened, still plenty tight for, you know, I wouldn't be worried about losing the thing, but after doing probably 600 miles, this was a little bit loose. One thing I definitely noticed is that the plastic is actually pretty flexible. It's not as rigid as I would imagine, like the more expensive brands are. So that might result in, you know, shorter life, I guess. But who knows, maybe not. I would just expect the Thule's and the Yakimas to be more rigid. At least they look more rigid. And you know, some of them have like the fancier pistons here that you can probably open a little bit more easily. And but hey, I mean, for like a third of the price, I can't really complain. You know, it might not last as long, but you know, for the probably 3 times a year that I'm probably going to use this thing, pretty much just for camping, to give us some extra room inside the car for our dog. I think it's just going to be just fine. So that's it. Now this thing is essentially just loose. So I'm probably just going to have my wife come and help me pull it off the car.